My name is Brian. I work at Harmonic Data. I've been here a couple of years. Done FileMaker development for probably 20 some odd years, long time. And prior to coming here, I did a lot of iOS Swift development. That is somewhat important because the feature I'm going to talk about, from all appearances, looks like it was lifted directly out of Xcode, where I spent a lot of time. There's a lot of, in apps like, for iOS apps, for instance, it's all code-based, right? There's no real sort of layout feature. And so you're traversing thousands and thousands of lines of code, tens of thousands, for a large project, and getting around in an app like that that's got dozens of files and tens of thousands of lines of code, hundreds of functions probably, can be difficult to get around and try to jump right to a function that you want to call. And so in Xcode, there is a Open Quickly feature that lets you go to a particular file, lets you go to a particular, you can jump right to a particular variable, a class, a function. And so that makes it very, very helpful. And so what Claris has done, thankfully, is they have adopted this. This feature, like I said, was in one or two versions ago. I forget if it was 19 or when it appeared exactly, but there was an Open Quickly feature in FileMaker, but it was basically restricted to, you had to be in layout mode in order to even get the Open Quickly box to show up. And from there you could navigate. It basically replicated the Manage Layouts window. So you could type in a layout name and jump right to it without having to contend with a second window. So very limited use, but what they've done with this new version is they've added a lot to it. For starters, it is system-wide now. It operates in all modes, browse mode, find mode. You can have a file that's not even open, and you can use the Open Quickly feature. So it is much more useful now. So let me show you that real quick. This is a file that I built many years ago for an organization I used to be part of. So the Open Quickly feature, you access this on Mac, it's Command K. On Windows, it's Control K. So I'm on a Mac, so I'll do Command K, and I'll get this very small Open Quickly window here. And if I just start typing something like a layout, if I want to go to an artist layout, artist detail, oops, it will autocomplete as you type, which is great. It shows I'm logged in as a full access user, so I'm seeing everything that matches artist. So these first options here are layouts. This icon indicates that it's an artist detail layout, a web layout. There's an artist call, anything that matches the word artist. Doesn't even have to be the beginning of the string. It can be at the end or somewhere in the middle. If you scroll down further, if you have a long enough list of matches, you'll start seeing other icons. This is a script icon, sort of a little scroll paper-looking icon. And these are all the scripts, script names, I should say, that match the word artist. And so you'll have, if you're logged in full access, you will see a very lengthy list probably in a lot of your solutions, just due to the number of layouts and scripts that you will have. So selecting one of these, right now I'm on what is the volunteer layout for this system. So if I go back to artist, and I should go to artist detail, if I hit return, it will just take me right to that layout in the same window that I was previously in. I can get back to the volunteer detail layout the same way. If I go to, say, there's a layout here in the system called bands, the bands that used to play at these events. What I'm going to do this time, though, is I'm going to hold the Option key down. So when you have a list of search results, if you hold down the Option key, actually I'm going to do this with a longer list. It'll be a little easier to see. So if you, from the search results list, if you hold the Option key down, it's very subtle, but you'll probably see, it may not come across on this. It's coming across all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, we can see it.
So the icon will change slightly. So for layouts, this card-looking icon will shift to a sort of a stacked card. As far as scripts go, the Option key turns into basically a play button or a run script type button. So not only can you, and in the case of layouts, if I hold down the Option key and go to Artist Detail, it will take me to Artist Detail in a second window, in a new window. If you don't hold it down, it will just use the window that you're currently operating in. If I go to Bands and hold the Option key down, I'll have the Bands layout in a second window. The other thing is that if you, how should I put it? If there's, some of you may be already concerned about users seeing things just by Command K and kind of fishing around for scripts and layouts, which is a totally legitimate concern. This is all managed by a couple of things, really. One thing that's obvious would be if you're in the Manage Layouts window, anything that's got a check mark that would normally be visible, to your end user, will be visible in the search results. If it's not checked, it will not. It won't show up in the search results as you type. So that's one way of controlling what users can see. One problem with that is a lot of systems are wired up to, with scripts that go to layout and pass various parameters and things so that the layout and the record get loaded in a particular state, right? So you're passing maybe, a half dozen different parameters, in a script when you go to a layout. This does not do that, of course. It just navigates directly to the layout. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. If you've got a simple enough layout that doesn't need to be manipulated or put in a very particular or specific state, and it's just a navigation issue, then this feature would be useful. Otherwise, you might want to stay away from it, or at least hide the layout from the Manage Layouts window. The other way is with a privilege set. Let me go ahead and open this up. So if you go to Advanced Settings and you go to a particular privilege set, down here for scripts, as long as it's modifiable or executable and checked in the scripts workspace, then a script will show up in the search results. Same for layouts. If it's modifiable or view only, then and it's also checked in the Manage Layouts window, it will show in the search results. But like I said, that may not be. There may be layouts that you want to present or make available to an end user, but you don't want them to just navigate to it without, running a particular script. And so basically, this is a newer feature. So what you're sort of limited to, if you don't want a user to just navigate to it directly, you have to do that with the custom menu. So you would need to create a custom menu. The shortcut, Open Quickly, is in the File menu. So if you needed to, keep your end users out of the Open Quickly window, you would need to remove it from here because the Apple K or Command K, Control K shortcut is going to be available otherwise. So even if you have all your layouts and all your scripts unchecked in the Manage windows, if they type Command K, they're still going to get at least the window to do a search in, even if it can't find anything. So that is one of the caveats of using this, really. I think it's going to be much more useful for developers. I've been pining for it secretly for many, many years because I'm used to the behavior in Xcode. And I used it, that's about the only way I used Xcode to get around in larger projects. It was just so much faster than using menus or jump bars or the equivalent of a managed layouts window. So as far as restricting that, we can go back to in the custom menus. One way would be to have a custom menu load only for a particular type of user or privilege set. Then the command, the open quickly window would be available if it's an end user or someone other than a super user. Then you could hide it outright that way. So there's several ways you can sort of manage what shows up in the search results. If you are in, so I've showed you layouts and scripts. The other thing it will do is open files. So you don't even need to use the open host window to navigate to something. Anything that is in your favorites or recent or is currently open. So if you got a file open and you do Command K, it's going to search across that file, of course. But it doesn't have to be a file that's open. I'm in this ArtCon database, but I've got another file called Partners that's not open at all right now. I haven't logged into it or anything. But because it's in my favorites, I can just type in Partners, and the file that is not open is available here, and I can launch it right from the Open Quickly, which is great because doing that, it just saves lots of clicks and keeps your desktop a little less cluttered.
Yes, sir. Robert in the chat pointing out that custom menu can let you remove the Open Quickly feature, but since the feature grants access to available scripts and layouts from all open files, simply creating a new file and calling Open Quickly from that new file can still reveal things you meant not to be available by removing the menu item via custom menu.
That is good to know. I did not know that.
Can I add to that, Paul? For somebody who's got an existing solution running, and as Paul said, it could be with multiple files, there'd be a considerable amount of retroactive work to do in order to control Open Quickly.
Yes.
To me, it seems like the forgotten element in it is that we weren't given a script step that could be put into your onOpen script to disable it globally until you've done that development work, and then you can more granularly decide how and where people should be able to use Open Quickly. Because if a layout, for example, has a on layout enter trigger going and you open that layout, it's going to fire. Right. And there are certainly scripts you don't want people to view, let alone run.
Right. No, exactly.
So I'm begging for, as soon as possible, just a script step that would allow you to control whether or not it's in the menu before you even begin the work of making your custom menus.
No, agreed. You could call it a blind spot. I'm not sure if Claris was intending to direct this primarily at developers, but for end users, it would, unless you're just working on a file yourself or in a very, very small team, or your system is just something very, very simple and concise. It's definitely an issue potentially.
It seems if they're aiming at developers at the moment, it's aimed at developers who have clients with unlimited budgets for retroactive work.
Yeah.
Because the client goes into the new version of FileMaker and they're happy that they've updated, and all of a sudden problems start popping up with an expensive fix.
Yes. And I would imagine there will probably be a few horror stories that pop up on the community or elsewhere. People that are maybe unaware of the feature or just haven't had the time or the budget to remove some of that, or at least control it, before end users upgrade. So it's definitely something to be aware of. just for developers, it's going to be, I think, I'm used to the feature from Xcode, so I've been waiting for this for a long time. Not having to deal with the script window, the script workspace, or the manage layout window, or even the file open window for that matter. It's just a quicker way, for me to get to those things, especially in a larger system that might have dozens of files and maybe aren't sure of the spelling of some of those files. I think for certain groups of people that maybe aren't used to, they don't have the muscle memory, for the manage layouts window and the script workspace. It might take some time to kind of rewire your brain to get used to the feature, but it is, for me personally, it's going to be a big time saver.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting, I haven't played with it extensively, but I think it's worth noting that while it does, there's no way to get rid of it without a custom menu, and that's not a universal fix as Robert articulates. It is limiting what it presents the user to what that user can really already do, right? So if your file is in the layout dialog, your user can switch to that layout directly.
Right.
If the script is in the script menu, your user can actuate the script.
Yes.
Now, maybe you've done something as a developer, like say, hey, I'm never going to expose my user to the taskbar where they can get to the layout menu.
Right.
Well, that's possible, right? And that's an easy fix, but I would argue that that's a cheap hack way. If you don't want them to be able to access the layout via the layout menu, unclick it, right? And then they can't access it.
Right.
If you don't want them to be able to run a script by clicking on script in script menu, don't leave it checked, right? So I think it's worth not panicking too much about what it gives you access to, because it is controlling what people can access by what they have permissions to for those files. It's not wild, wild west.
Oh, no.